Bonjour français 4. Aujourd'hui, on va parler du participe présent. C'est très bizarre parce que nous savons déjà le participe passé, oui. Quand on utilise le passé composé, il y a le participe passé. Aujourd'hui, on parle du participe présent. Commencez. Okay, first thing we're going to start talking about is how to form a participle or how to make one. Then we're going to talk about how and when we want to use it. So the stem is the new form of the verb, which might sound a little familiar. That's why we started with the imperfect in this unit to pair it with the participle. Once you take off the ONS, you're going to add ANT. So il y a 4 exemples là-bas. Entrer becomes entrant. Choisir becomes choisissons. Remember the extra ISS with the IR verbs. Vendre becomes vendons. Aller becomes allons. So it kind of sounds like that new form a little bit. A couple of verbs to look out for are CER verb need the cédille before the ANT. And you can imagine that's because we want the soft C sound. So commençons. And GER verbs, we need to add that extra E in before the ANT, again, because we want the soft G sound. Mangeons. Continuez. There are 3 irregulars. Life would not be complete without any irregulars. Être becomes étant. That one should not be any surprise to you, considering that there's no ONS in the new form of être. Avoir becomes ayant, and savoir, to know, is sachant. So those are the only 3 irregular participles in the present tense. Every other verb, you just go to the new form and it works out just fine. Okay, you can make a participle negative. Since it is a verb form, we can put the ne pas right around the participle. So voilà un exemple. Ne faisons pas attention, il a perdu son papier. Not paying attention, he lost his paper. All right, let's get ready to talk about how do we translate these into English, and you might have already figured it out. It's the ing in English. So aimant, loving. That's really the straight up English translation, pretty straightforward and might seem familiar from some of our vocab words. How can we use the participle? It becomes an adjective that will describe a noun. And remember, all our adjectives make agreement. So let's look at some examples from our vocab. Une fille souriante. Sourire is the verb to smile, so that's where that adjective comes from. La fille, c'est féminin, so we had to add that E here on the end. Des profs exigeants. Exiger is the verb to demand. So when you have more than one prof, you would add the S. Or say you had all female teachers, they're so demanding, you just want to crawl into a hole and die, you would put an ES at the end. And then, I guess, crawl into a hole and die. As long as you make agreement first. Ok, une autre façon d'utiliser le participe présent, c'est avec en. Now, this is not an adjective. This is a different form, so no agreement in this situation, but it can mean a couple different things. It can mean while, upon, in, on. What it does, it describes 2 actions that are taking place at the same time. So, en sortant du métro, nous avons vu la Tour Eiffel. Upon exiting the subway, we saw the Eiffel Tower. Or as we were leaving the subway, we saw the Eiffel Tower. So you can see that these 2 things were happening at the same time. The participle is here, sortant, so while we were leaving, and then here's our passé composé, nous avons vu. So it expresses 2 things that happened at the same time. Another way you can use en plus the participle is a cause and effect relationship. So, elle a gagné 20 euros en essayant les jeux d'adresse. So, she won 20 euros by means of trying the games of skill. That's a different way that you can use that participle. So, that's really it on participles. They got 2 extras, because who doesn't want a little bit more? You can make a present composé. So, I'll show you what it means. So, what you do is you'll take ayant or étant, which is avoir and être, and then combine it with the past participle, the verb, and it makes a different tense. So ayant fini, having finished, Having finished all my homework, I went to bed. Something like that. Or étant parti, having left the store. Now, why do we use étant here? Well, partir is a Vandertramp. So that means no matter what, any kind of combined tenses, like the plus que parfait, which we haven't learned, but we'll use extra in whatever form we want. So like I said, this is a little extra. You might see this somewhere. Another one is tout en with the participle. So all the while, so tout en préparant le dîner, elle parlait au téléphone. So she was talking on the telephone the whole time that she was preparing dinner. So that's another interesting use of the participle. All right, préparez pour la classe demain. Finissez les phrases. Okay, so I want you to end each sentence with a participle. So you can either say what you do while you do these actions or how is it that you do these actions. So, je fais les devoirs. So how do you do your homework? Do you do it while listening to music? Do you do it while watching TV, while talking on the phone, while studying with your friends, something like that? Or while being at the library, while sitting in class? That would be a bad one. But remind me, I can show you two reflexive verbs with participles because they become participles too. So bring these forward to class and I will see you à demain.